We did the Scream remix with Michael Jackson.
Yep.
And then we did the Jam video with Michael Jackson. So that was like the epitome for us, you know?
Yep.
Is there anybody that passed that, you know, maybe from a different era that you wish that maybe you would have gotten a chance to entertain with? You know, let's say like a Sammy Davis Jr. or, you know, somebody that, you know, in that era.
When we were coming up, we had a chance to meet James Brown at BET.
Nice, nice.
But we never got to perform with him or none of that. So for me, it was like James Brown, perhaps he was a generation before me. So it wasn't like when we encountered Michael Jackson, like Mike would be the epitome for us, especially with us having OPP and all of that.
Absolutely.
But between Mike and James Brown, then we did, I remember us doing something, we did something with MTV, and we worked with Aerosmith, I believe. So I remember being up there with Steven Tyler.
That's good.
You ever do the Soul Train Awards? Or ever did Soul Train with Don Cornelius?
Yeah, actually, we did the Soul Train theme. We had the theme running for about 4 years.
Okay.
Maybe 3 years we had the theme running. Yeah. And we had, what's the guy named? George Duke.
Yep, I worked with him.
So, Don Cornelius had George Duke as the producer, and then Tretch and I rhymed over it, and we had a 3.
Influences. Who was probably the greatest influence on you guys getting your career started?
For me, it was like Run DMC. You know, what you guys see of us on stage was our fear, because we're from Jersey and we're right there next to New York. So all the time when we were coming up, we would try to go into New York and perform, and if you weren't from New York, you'd automatically get booed. And I remember we did Red Alert's party, and we were from Jersey, so you had KRS-One, De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, Queen Latifah, etc., etc., etc. And this is in like, before we even came out as Naughty by Nature, this had to be like 1989. Wow. And we were the new style. So KG's brother had a rapport with the promoter who did that show, and they let us go in as new style. So I remember picking up the mic and like, yeah, Jersey's in the house, blah, 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 with a new style. Before we even started the first song, they booed us out of the place. And this is again in front of Tribe Called Quest, KRS-One, Queen Latifah, etc., etc., etc. We got booed out of the place. So out of fear, what you see in our stage show right now, our biggest influences are the Run DMCs. In particular, KRS-One, who when we were coming up had the illest stage show ever. And then our first major show or tour was with Public Enemy.
Nice. So
Flavor Flav, Chuck D, you know, what I do on stage, I witness Flavor Flav and how he accented Chuck D and all of this stuff. So we totally absorbed that, and what you see on stage from Naughty by Nature is out of fear of being
Naughty by Nature. How'd that come about?
That was a song, a new style song. So we had a song called Naughty by Nature, and then we were the new style. So we were signed to Sugar Hill Records. At the time, it was like all the Sugar Hill artists sued Sugar Hill Records, and then Sugar Hill ended up suing MCA. So part of the settlement was, all right, well, they wouldn't use the Sugar Hill Records name anymore, and they had a production deal with MCA, and their sub-label was called Bon Ami. We were signed to Bon Ami as the new style. So we had a batch of records, and one of those records was called Naughty by Nature. So when we left them, we hooked up with Queen Latifah and Shakim for Flavor Unit Management. We were their first group that they signed to management. And Latifah was already signed to Tommy Boy. So they said, first business got to change your name. So we were flipping through
So
everything.
what was it before then? Not
The New Style.
The New Style, okay.
So Tretch was like, you know what? We should be called Naughty by Nature. And at the time, Shakim from Flavor Unit and Chris Lighty, who manages Busta Rhymes, he manages 50 Cent right now. He's just doing big things right now.
Jeff Jeb too as well for a minute, right?
Yeah. So Shakim and Chris Lighty had Flavor Unit Baby Sounds. And at the time, Flavor Unit was shopping us, Naughty by Nature, and Baby Sounds, which was Chris Lighty, who was shopping Black Sheep. So in that batch, we got signed to Tommy Boy and Black Sheep got signed. So OPP and Choice Is Yours was out at the same time.
Absolutely.
And then Flavor Unit and Baby Sound split. Chris Lighty went on to do Violator management and